All right. Hello, everybody. Super excited to be here. Such a lovely crowd. So if we have some bystanders, please do come in. We still have some seats over here. So today I want to talk about ready, steady, and grow. And I should have slides over here in a second. So basically, the maths are pretty brutal for startups. You have 3% chances of survival. Basically, 97% of startups after seed fail to exit. And it's not a secret, actually most of the startups fail, even those that go to Series F or further. Still, the maths are pretty horrible. So today I'm going to talk about few really strong questions that you want to have answers to if you want to make it and you don't want to be among those 97%. So those questions are why and how. Let's start from defining what's a startup. I know that Startup Lithuania recently came up with a definition for it. It says it has to be less than 5 years old. However, we think that just founding a company, let's say opening a barber shop, doesn't make you a startup. Startups are all about growth and massive growth. So I like this quote that it actually says, these are the companies designed for fast growth. However, it does carry a trap here. You're always tempted to focus on the wrong stuff. And for that, I'll make an example. I'll talk about some personal story that I have. So before that, I was working for a relatively large corporation, and I always wanted to do something on the side. I wanted to have a side hustle, right? So since we were working in an advertising field, ad blocker was naturally a big problem for us. And we thought we might want to tackle it in some sort of social manner where we will have people upvoting good ads and downvoting bad ads. It seemed really logical, and we enjoyed doing this quite a lot. However, there was always this question in the room that we were too afraid to address. And the question was, why? Why are we doing this? It was always out there, but we were just too afraid to actually commit to answering it. And the fact was that naturally, there wasn't a problem. People were not actually interested in solving this. And of course, we shut down the project a few weeks after it. However, the interesting fact, one of our competitors have actually came up with a similar solution. It went a few months later live. And I'm the one who actually thought of this idea. I downloaded the tool. I played around with it for 20 seconds. And I realized it's just awful. It was such a bad idea, right? So at the beginning, we were lucky that we failed basically at the really first step of the idea. We were unable to answer this question of why, right? So this is sort of like an existential problems over there. But of course, a lot of startups face operational problems on the how question as well. So if you look deeper into top reasons why startups fail, this is, by the way, coming from CB Insights. They did a research on this. The number one reason why startups fail is not having a market need. Basically, there's not enough people who think that's a problem, and there's not enough people who would like to spend their money to fix it, right? So a few other reasons are running out of money, pretty natural, not having the right team, or just getting outcompeted. So we'll get to those a bit later, and for now, I want to just emphasize a bit on this one, on the sort of existential problems. I think the temptation here is that a lot of startups actually focus a lot on the form. So going quickly, acting quickly, the speed, the growth. However, we sometimes tend to forget the function. So we experience and we see a lot of this mindset, which is really good, really well defined in Lithuanian. And sorry for international folks, this is going to be just a joke for the local guys. We see a lot of this mindset, which is defined well by this quote. Svarbiausia kažką daryt, right? So it's not a bad mindset. However, I would like to sort of make a twist on it. Now I'll say, svarbiausia kažką daryti gero ir už pinigus, right? So it means basically you have to have a function, and if your function, it should be at least one of these. Either you're here to make the world a better place. An example of this is, of course, self-driving car. So there's a huge problem that people lose their lives on the roads. And automotive industry was focusing on this for a while. They were, introducing seat belts and airbags and making the car just rigid in general. However, it took some bold decision to actually address one of the weakest links in the chain, and that's the person behind the wheel. That's the, you have to get rid of that person from the car. It was definitely a bold thinking, but with all the breakthrough technology that's out there, LiDARs, computer vision, route planning, GPS, connectivity, etc., this is now becoming a reality. So there is definitely a great idea, a great case, and a lot of people and a lot of investors and population in general, I think, are really, really excited about this development. So if you have a really cool problem to solve, I think you have a good chance. So that's one side of the spectrum. On another side of the spectrum, of course, we have a Slinky. I don't know exactly what type of problem this product is solving, but some people still buy it. So there's always this, and you have to kind of have this in mind, although I'm not sure if that's a great idea for the startup. So startup is about growing fast, right? But I think, again, as I said, there's a trap of focusing maybe on this growth and speed and agility and whatever. And I think all of us were in a situation when we were in a foreign town, we have our Google Maps open, and we were walking, just to do the turn. That's where, oh, right, I need to go there, right? It's pretty embarrassing. So I think speed is pretty relevant if you're actually going in the wrong direction in the first place. So my main idea and my takeaway for today is actually kind of hold back on the growth, on the speed, and on focusing on the technology itself. Rather, come down, get ready, steady, and then grow, right? So I think that's a great quote to think about what startups are. Just businesses or companies are looking for a scalable business model, right? I think in Lithuania we have a great example for this, Vinted. It's much older than 5 years. I'm not sure exactly how old they are, but they were in few of these positions in their lifetime, and I think now I hope they finally found a model which is scalable for them, and I'm rooting for them to do well. So how Google can help here? So entrepreneurship is really in our DNA from the time these two gentlemen founded the company in their garage, or was it somebody else's garage? Essentially what we think is, if startups succeed, so does Google, right? So you may know about Google from these consumer-facing products that have billions of users, but actually there's another story and a lesser-known side of the products which are actually meant for developers. So although none of these products have 1 billion users, I think they were used to build companies who do have billions of users. So from development to growing to actually earning money with Google tools. And we also focus in this sort of approach where we tackle certain problems in a startup's life cycle. So let's kind of take a look at how exactly we can help in each one of these. So for the market need, of course, there's Google Trends, right? That's a basic tool. It's available publicly. You can go and just get a pulse on a population if people are interested in certain regions and certain topics. But once we work with certain startups that we think have a good chance, or if we work with venture capital, we have much more interesting data and something that we can tap into, and that's queries, basically stuff that people search online. And just to give you a couple of examples, so keto diet and just in general healthy living has become a big trend. So basically, if you have a company that's focusing on that and you waited for this trend to come, you have a great chance of surfing it pretty far away. Another example, again, a lot of people are distracted these times from all the notifications and pingings and stress and everything. So health, mental health, things like meditation music or weighted blanket. I didn't even know that was a thing. I think it kind of helps you sleep better, right? That's growing more than 110% year over year. So that means people are interested in buying such products, right? So using this data, you can actually validate if you have a market need, if you're actually solving a problem that exists out there. Secondly, if you're running out of money, we do locally connect a bunch of VCs that we sort of maintain relationships on daily basis, almost, maybe on weekly basis. But if you need money, we can connect you to the VCs that suit you best. And basically, you are in a good position because right now there's, I think, abundance of money in Baltics. In general, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia combined are bigger than Poland when it comes to amounts of investments, and not necessarily even going to a per capita basis. So of course, if you want to get your percentages in a sort of more favorable manner for you, you want to position yourself in the sectors that VCs were funding historically, and that has been transport, finance, and software as a service. So if you're in there, you already have a better chance of succeeding and getting to the next stage. Third step, not having the right team. It's a crucial step because there's, as cliche as it may sound, investors don't fund companies, they fund people. And that's, I can tell you, that's one of the top priorities that we check in a startup when we're deciding if we're going to work with them or not. And although Google have not yet invented a cloning tool, we cannot clone the best CMOs and CTOs out there, we have clocked a bunch of hours internally, and we captured a lot of that insights and research into books and collection of ideas that we actually give away publicly. So g.co/rework, by the way, these links will be available at the end of the presentation. You will be able to get a screenshot there. So I encourage you to visit. I think that it has a lot of interesting resources when it comes to hiring, retaining, and actually engaging people. So this is definitely can be beneficial in any stage of your startup life. And the last one, getting out competed. That's the part where we at Google Lithuania focus the most. That's where the team that's sitting here in Vilnius office focus the most. And we have basically 3 offerings. So that's Google Cloud, Google Campus in Warsaw, and Seed Baltics. That's the team that's actually, that's my team, 3 people, Max and Daria over here as well, together, working together to finding next big startup and taking them to another level. So we do, I'll talk about briefly about each one of these columns. So firstly, Google Cloud. We offer credits up to $3, $20, or $100,000. This is super useful for companies just started spiking and you get this scary invoice from your cloud provider. It's super helpful. So you can get these credits from Startup Lithuania, their official distributor of these credits, but also you can reach out to us, or you can apply yourself on the website. There's a form, you can fill it in, and there's a high chance you're going to get this. Secondly, Google Campus, that's basically a place in Warsaw where companies can meet, startups can meet, exchange information, participate in events, get some best practice consultations. And just to give you an idea, which I think this was released quite recently, it was a 1-pager about how crucial is speed of the landing page, especially on mobile. So actually I put a short URL here and a QR code. I thought they were dead, but it seems they're coming back, right? So now cameras have these QR scanners. You can try and scan that. 1, 2 people scanning. Hey, QR is not dead. It's a great resource that can be used, and Google has a bunch of tools that can be leveraged to understand if your website is loading quickly or not and what to do about it. And the last step, that's the seed startups, entrepreneurship, export development. That's the team that we're 3 of us are working in. Basically, we're working with companies to figure out their user acquisition right. And to get it, you need to solve this simple equation, which means that customer acquisition costs should be lower than the lifetime value of that user that you acquired. No brainer, right? If you're making more money from the person than you spent on getting that person, that means you're in good business. But to get there, there's a lot of advanced techniques that need to be implemented, and it starts from, firstly focusing on the right market, focusing on the right business planning, but it's super crucial as well to get the measurement and analytics right. If you're not, we have the saying inside Google that if you cannot measure it, it doesn't exist. So it's really, really crucial to get these right, and actually that's one of the toughest challenges that even multi-billion valued startups in Baltics actually still struggle with, but good news is that we're here to help. So, do you think you have what it takes? Because if you do, if you have at least few answers to these questions, I think the other 2 can be solved. So especially if you have the answer on the why part, I think running out of money should not be a problem, right? You definitely can focus and get better at competing. And if you not have the right team, well, maybe then again, you have some problem over here. So if you have these, at least some of these sorted out, we encourage to reach out to us. And I think we can help you to get some beautiful things done. And when all the things click, we have some great stories to tell. That's just a graph from one of our clients that we were working with. Vertical axis is basically online sales. And we started working with them roughly at this stage, and within that time they grew not 10 times but 34 times. So my takeaway for today for you guys is, do not rush with raising huge rounds and spending them in a wild fashion. I think the goal here is to sort of come down, get insights, get ready, steady, and then grow. So that's it from me. Thank you for your attention. I've added the links in here. You can take a screenshot and use it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.